Plaintiff Cheyenne Yates met the defendant on a dating app, and they fell in love. Cheyenne claims after they moved in together, the defendant became physically and verbally abusive, and she's suing him today for the balance due on a loan and personal property. Defendant Tyler MERRICK admits his relationship with Cheyenne was rocky, but he insists he never put his hands on her. Tyler claims he repaid Cheyenne for the loan, and he doesn't owe her anything for her property.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
I met Tyler in the fall of 2015 on Tinder.
Tinder, which one get? No. There's one that gets you quick sex that's closest around, right?
Right. Yeah.
Is that the Tinder?
No.
Isn't that what it does? You notify people?
I mean, it's more than that.
Tell me what happens. How did this happen on the Tinder? Who went on what first and who did what?
So we quickly fell in love
No.
with each other.
I want to know how you got on that Tinder. I want to know the Tinder process. There's a lot of people want to know it. So you have first-hand knowledge.
So you can send people messages that you swipe right on.
What do you know? How do you learn of the people?
So you have to swipe right or left. If you swipe right, then
you go to
like
Tinder.com or whatever. You got to be on the app. Then you
swipe right or you swipe left after you make a profile, of course.
Okay, you put your profile up.
Like kind of like Facebook, but like you put like a bio of like what you're looking for.
And then what happens?
And then you swipe right or you swipe left on the people that are on there. So if you swipe right, you like them. If you swipe left, you don't like them. So I swiped right.
How do you see all the people at one time?
They just like come up.
Okay, the people who fit your description pop up.
It's just like everybody. It's not really a profile thing.
Everybody's like millions of people. So they all come up and you say, like that one.
Yep. And then you can either message them or they can message you, depending on, like, they have to like you first. You have to like match. So you like them, they like you, and then you can message each other. So we started messaging each other and we hit things off. And then he started coming to see me a lot and we started going on dates and stuff. And then we decided that we wanted to move in together. I quickly realized that he was very mean, controlling, abusive, physically and emotionally.
Tell me about that.
He would hit me, he would push me out of his car, he was throwing trash cans at me. One time I was scared to stay in the same room with him.
You sure did?
So.
He was doing it?
Yeah.
You couldn't take him?
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean.
Little bitty thing? Go ahead.
I was even scared to stay in the same room as him, and when I came back to the room, my stuff was all over the floor. Like, my stuff was broken. There was pieces of, like, my sunglasses because he had broken them in a fit of, like, rage.
Did you ever call the police on him?
I did. At the end, when I was trying to get my things and he was throwing my stuff at me and calling me names, I got the police involved, and I mean, they really couldn't help me. I was just trying to get my stuff back at that point and get out of there. He even called me, excuse my language, a baby back when I was crying because I was leaving my hometown, and I called him looking for comfort, and instead he called me names because he wanted me to hurry up so that we could get home on time.
How often would he put his hands on you?
Probably about once a month or twice a month. He was very emotionally abusive. He would call me names all the time. I think he has anger issues really bad, and I think he has bipolar disorder.
Sir, you tell me about this.
Your Honor, none of that was true. The relationship was rocky, but there were some times that we fought, but I never put my hands on her.
That's a lie.
Hand, I never put my hands on her.
That's a lie.
If that was the case, when she called the cops, I would have went to jail, right?
Nope. Not all the time.
Well, 9 times out of 10.
Depends on where you live.
Okay. But I was never arrested. I never did put my hands on her.
That's a lie.
It was a rocky relationship.
You have a police report where you say he put his hands on you?
No.
Okay.
Because it didn't happen, Your Honor.
And tell me about the loan you're suing for.
I'm suing for a trip that I paid for because I paid $3,600 for the trip.
When?
He agreed. This happened in March of 2017.
What was the agreement?
We agreed that we would split the trip after I paid for the full thing. So he would pay me $1,800. He would pay me whenever he could.
Okay, and what happened?
So he ended up paying me back about $1,494. And then when we broke up, he basically said, I don't owe you anything, you don't have any proof. And
He was
said
paying
wasn't
you
gonna
up
pay
until
me.
the time you broke up.
Right.
All right. And personal property, tell me about that.
As for the property, we lived together, and I ended up trying to get my stuff back on 3 separate occasions. I even got a U-Haul and took it there, and when I tried to get my things back, he locked me out and left. So when I called the cops, there was nothing they could do because he had left.
Locked you out how?
I didn't have the keys at this point because I had moved out, so he literally locked the doors and left. Like, I had gotten a couple things, and he was yelling at me the whole time, and then I got a box, and I went down, and then he locked the door and left.
When was this?
This was in, I want to say September of 2018.
Okay, and what has happened since that time?
We haven't talked at all, really.
You haven't attempted to get your things?
Correct.
I tried a couple times.
No.
When?
Not since that.
What month? Or months?
I tried like a couple times in the same month. Like, I got the U-Haul, tried to get a couple things, then got
Why
locked
didn't you
out.
reach back out later?
The emotional abuse of him was just too much.
You weren't too emotionally distraught to ask a total of 3 times in September, but yet you were too emotionally distraught to ask for the remainder of nearly a year. Sir, let me hear from you on the loan and the property.
As far as the
What
money,
property was it? You have a list?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Okay, so as far as the money, I did pay her, and I have bank statements showing that I took out money to pay her with that.
Does it say that? It says, this is the money I'm taking. Your bank
No,
types it in
no.
like that?
No, Your Honor,
My
that's
bank
not
won't type it
specifically
in.
what
It
it
just
says.
shows I got a withdrawal. It doesn't tell
Right,
me
it
what I
doesn't
did
show
with it.
specifically.
My bank don't know what I do with my money. Go ahead.
So
Just so you
there's
withdrew money.
large sums of money withdrawn, and that I would.
No, there's $28 too. Not large. All of them aren't
When I,
large.
like she mentioned, when
You
I
got
could pay her,
$50.
when I could pay her back, I paid her
$76.
back when I could.
Okay,
In-
but that
in-
doesn't
in
show
payments that I
anything.
could.
It's just a bank
And this
statement.
doesn't indicate that it was $1,800.
The totality of it, all the ones that I highlighted through. if
Okay,
we
so
go
you were
through-
giving her, you gave her $76?
Yes, I was. I
Why
was
just
confused.
$76?
That's all I could afford at the time, sir.
Okay, so 22nd of March, you gave her $270. You took out $270, and every time you took it out, you gave it to her. The ones that are highlighted, right?
Sir.
All right. March 22nd, you gave her $270. Just 3 days later, you gave her $76.
Probably
correct?
because I got paid, and so I had a little bit more money.
Oh, okay. So you would have had an addition if you got paid, right? A deposit.
Yeah, and I still have bills going out, so I could only pay her like.
Okay, so those bills would be reflected on here too, but they're not. Or it may be, because I don't know what this money was for. All I know is $76 3 days after $270 doesn't sound like somebody who's repaying a loan. That's not how people repay loans based on my experience and observation and common sense. And I'm looking at some other withdrawals. Yeah, $18.
I should have had.
I just don't believe
I
you.
should have had a generic receipt
you
wrote
should
up.
have.
But you
Yeah,
live and you
should
learn.
have.
You live and you
should have
learn.
had her sign off.
Yes, I should
Because
have.
she's way more
then it's-
believable than you.
As far as the personal property,
Uh-huh.
Your Honor, I never told her she couldn't come get it. The one time she did come with the U-Haul, she came in with her friend, and they were trash talking and talking down on me and my family the whole time she was in there.
That is such a
and I said, next
lie.
time you want to be civil
lie.
and come in, call the cops. Well, she never came back. And when she came back and did get her stuff before, she took everything she wanted.
And where are those properties, though, sir?
They are at my house.
All right.
She never contacted me to try to get them again.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you have 30 days to get them. Otherwise, I'll grant her a judgment. So you have a little incentive there to get them. In the meantime, ma'am, you get $306. That's the loan I believe he owes you for. Have a good day. That's my judgment.
He was very abusive mentally and physically, and I wish I would have noticed it further on in the relationship. And I deserve better from somebody, and I'm glad that I went through this because I know next time that I deserve better.
But this is just defamation of character. None of it's true.